Hello and welcome to another episode of Defense India podcast, the podcast where we discuss matters pertaining to India's internal security. And as always, joining me on the podcast is our expert on internal security, Vicky Nanjappa. Vicky, welcome to Defense India podcast once again. So, Vicky, as the thumbnail says and the headline says today that we're going to discuss about around 4.5 years of for the abrogation of Article 370 in Kashmir, a long-awaited step that needed to be taken. Finally, in 2019, the NDA government under the leadership of BJP, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Home Minister Amit Shah, they basically they have not deleted. Many of the people actually think that Article 370 does not exist anymore. It does very much exist. Some of the sub articles of the Article 370 are now not valid in the Constitution, but it is very much still there. What has happened that the special status to the Kashmir that was given by this article has now is no more there. It is the integral part of the country. So no two constitutions, no two heads of the state. But what we're going to talk about today is about why and how this removal of Article 370 has clamped down so much on anti-India activities that were taking place in Kashmir. Every Friday, we used to get this story that there is some stone pelting in some part of Kashmir after the prayers, the flags of Pakistan, ISIS were being hoisted there in Kashmir. But now nothing as of such. First of all, I want to get your insight that what is the difference that you see between the Kashmir before the abrogation of Article 370 and Kashmir after the abrogation of Article 370.
Akash, the thing is, number one point abrogation just meant is that, Jammu Kashmir was always an integral part of India, but then, they had a separate constitution and separate laws and things like that. So, that was not really making too much sense. Now, by abrogating Article 370, what happened was that, there was that firm stamp that, Jammu Kashmir is very much part of India. That is one thing. And, it was not a separate land for, people of that erstwhile state. I mean, because it's a union territory now. People from outside can now go buy land, and there will be investments also, which will help the state and things like that. So it's like say you're from Bihar and you're not allowed to buy land in Karnataka. That is not a scenario that exists. You can buy land anywhere, and so it's just that you have made it a very integral part of India. That is one thing, and it also led to the I wouldn't say Article 370 led to the death of separatism per se, because they are very much there, and but those probes by NIA, ED and all that, when they cut off their money source basically, and that's where the separatism ended at the end of it. Okay, one thing, because it was very clear that they were operating only for the sake of money at the end of it, not in the welfare of Jammu and Kashmir or anything of that sort. And also another thing is that since it's more open, the laws are the same. They were governed by the Ranbir penal code. The IPC did not apply to them. So, that also made it a little tricky, although. So with the abrogation, they are also now under the, they're governed by the Indian Penal Code itself. So that is one which has made it more effective for the security agencies to operate out there. That is one. And of course, a lot has changed along the border, because if you see the last statement given by the Home Ministry in Parliament, they had said that, in the last 6 months, there have been no infiltrations at all. That is one thing. So a lot has changed out there, Akash, and it's become more inclusive, I would say. And gradually even the Kashmiris have started realizing that, we are part of India, and it is more beneficial to be part of India rather than a country, which goes out with a begging bowl, that is Pakistan at the end.
Right. And Vicky, as far as the terrorist activities in Jammu and Kashmir, we have seen that army has now clamped down very much hard on these activities. Every second day we hear these, fringe elements being gunned down by the army or getting nabbed. How do you see this? That post what has happened in Kashmir after 370, do you feel that there is a lot of difference in terms of how the machinery, the police machinery, the security forces machinery have started to work there on the ground, and that is why we are seeing so much of action by the security forces?
Right. One more thing, Akash. I mean, while the army has been given a free hand there to operate, the thing is about, pinpointing on these commanders, like Buran Mani and all that had started happening much before Article 370 was abrogated, actually. That is one. So there has been a systematic effort by the whole mechanism, to erase terror from there and, stop these stone peltings and all that. I would also largely credit the Jammu Kashmir police, because they've also been given a free hand to operate. Because I know one thing is that central agencies find it very difficult to operate without the help of the state mechanism. Because, as I said, the local police, that is, Jammu Kashmir police out there, they have their, ears to the ground. They have pinpointed information on who's hiding where and things like that. Look at the success rate of the operation. I mean, it's not been a blank spot. When the security agencies have this one, when they do this cordon and search operation, they know very well that who's staying where, what is happening, and things like that. There have been some misses, no doubt, but these keep happening in these kind of operations. But there's been a very, very seamless coordination between the army and the local police out there. And the abrogation of 370 has only, helped even further because, as I said, they're operating under a common law which the whole country follows. That is one now. And the intelligence has been extremely specific, at least, from the local police, which has helped the army a great deal.
Right. And now let's talk about something that we've seen in couple of years, especially after 2019, is a very stark difference in terms of how the modus operandi of the terrorist organizations have changed there in Jammu and Kashmir. Now they are targeting more of if we talk about army personnel or police personnel, they're targeting them and a guerrilla kind of an attack, and also the non-Kashmiri migrant workers are being attacked, and also Kashmiri Pandits, Hindus who are there, who have been relocated by the government, are working either in Jammu or in Kashmir. They are also being targeted. So, how do you see this, and what steps could the government over there take in terms of cutting down on these kind of actions?
See, this is actually second part of the operation, basically. Now, if you see in the first part, they went after all these top leaders and commanders and things like that. So, with 99% of them being wiped out. Now, what has happened is, if you see a lot of these, China-made pistols have been, handed over to these guys out there, and that has been the other wave of attack where the local boys have been used out there because infiltrations are not happening. They're not able to send the hardcore trained people and things like that. So the thing is, it has become more localized, the issue. This, I would say, is the second part of the problem which, the agencies are facing out there, which I'm very sure, they will overcome that also. Because one thing what is happening is, when they see the development which is happening in Jammu Kashmir, migrant population coming in there to work and things like that, the whole atmosphere has become more and more inclusive, which, these guys want to, disturb that, these handlers from Pakistan keep telling him to do these kind of things, so that there is always that fear which is there in the environment. There's always that fear, so that people from outside don't come and invest or try to earn their livelihood in Jammu Kashmir. But if you see now, so many movies are being shot in Jammu Kashmir. Okay, it's become a very popular tourist destination. Since there was no snow in Europe, a lot of people turned to Jammu Kashmir this year, and also the fact that the G20 meeting which was held out there, which also went on peacefully. See, these are positives that I'll say, but the threat does remain. It will take some time because slowly the local youth also is gradually getting acclimatized to the current situation. Where we're all part of one country kind of thing. Which separatism had actually uh, tried to nullify that element within them. There have been attempts, but I would say that the killings have also gone down now. That is the problem, because the problem is when there is a hardcore commander, what happens is you have solid intel on that person. Somebody just from out of the blue just crops up. It is a little difficult to this one. What is that to trail them or track them and things like that. But I'm seeing that is also gradually improving. As I said, there will be misses, but I would say it'll take a couple of more years for the whole thing to just calm down.
Right. Okay, and talking about Article 370, and of course, the reaction did not just come from Kashmir; it also came from Pakistan when the abrogation was done. Over the years, how you have seen that what has changed in the mood of Pakistan when it comes to Kashmir? Because after the abrogation of 370, India has made it clear it is not. India, for a long period of time, has said that Kashmir is not a talking point in terms of what India and Pakistan relationships are. Very recently, when Bilawal Bhutto also came to India, in I will say in very miffed words, he also tried to rake up the Kashmir issue, but very aptly, Dr. Jaishankar, put him down. So, is Kashmir still a talking point for Pakistan, and will it remain? Because I think the world, India, everybody else has moved on, but I think Pakistan is somewhere stuck in the 1940s.
That's true. I mean, it is definitely a talking point for Pakistan, but they'll only keep talking about it because they have to do things for their own local politics and things like that. For them, nothing matters. But India at the end of it. See, they will continue to talk about it. They will continue to raise it in all international forums and things like that. But definitely, they are not going to gain any traction from it, because it's very, very clear now that Kashmir is an issue that is over for them. So what they would do is talk about it in international forums, discuss it, debate it. When they are having their elections, they will raise it out there and things like that. And of course, try to have more infiltrations coming, trying to keep Jammu Kashmir on the boil. But that all that will be overcome, because at the end of it, they have enough and more problems of their own. But when on some international forum, when Pakistan is sitting there, if they don't talk about Jammu Kashmir, I mean, it may sound very strange to their own public, but it's just going to remain a talking point for them, and it's going to make no difference to any of us or the rest of the world, because it's an accepted fact that Jammu Kashmir was, is, and always will remain an integral part of India.
Right. And Vicky, one last thing. So, like, what is being said, what is being said across the table is that there is a lot of development that is happening in Kashmir. The government is planning to start, a lot of infrastructure projects in Kashmir. But when will, according to you, it's just a very rough estimate, would it be possible for the government to, restore Kashmiri Pandits back into the valley? Would it be possible? Because the incidents that have taken place, the attacks on the Kashmiri Hindus there in the valley, who tried to go there, start working there, try to rebuild what had happened after what had happened in the 1990s. So, would it be possible to overcome those things and the kind of politics that has been played out in Kashmir?
I would see that happening, but it would take a little more time, because, as I said, it's too early, because this problem in Kashmir has lasted for many, many years, and I wouldn't see any magical fix happening in 3 or 4 years or something like that. Gradually, as I said, terror groups have gone down considerably out there. You don't see stone pelting happening every Friday, as you mentioned. Okay, that is one thing. So it is a gradual process, and in the minds of the Kashmiri Pandit, there's still that that little doubt and little fear and things like that they may be targeted and things like that. Government is taking steps to ensure that, but eventually, over a period of time, I think that would happen, and I'm sure that all of them would return to their rightful place at the end of it. That where they were driven away from in the 90s. Okay, which is such a terrible this one incident that happened, which was very rightly depicted in the Kashmir files actually. So over a period of time, I do see that happening. Infrastructure building, complete restoration of peace, Okay, all those kind of things, like what we saw in Punjab, what happened, finally it took time, but it eventually happened at the end of it. And I would see that very soon, they will be able to return to their rightful places out there. And but as I said, it will take a little bit of time. There's no doubt about it, because still, these irritants are there, these small time terror groups and things like that, just masquerading under new names, Lashkar becoming a TRF, and those kind of things. So if this continues with this kind of zeal, in which the government is going now and the security agencies are going on, and how the administration is going, I don't see, any problem in that. And more importantly, I think there is an electoral process which will start eventually, which is also very important. So, once you have a proper government out there, then, after that, a lot more can also happen.
Right, right. Well, on that note, Vicky, thank you very much for joining me on Defense India podcast. And I hopefully, we'll see a lot of more development coming in Kashmir, and a lot of people, who have their dreams to have their houses in the hills are able to buy some property there in Kashmir, and, have a happy life, and, get to own an apple orchard. Well, on that note, thank you very much for joining me on Defense India podcast. Thank you for all our viewers who take their time out to see the podcast. If you like this kind of content, please do like, share, and subscribe to Defense India podcast, and we will see you in the next episode.